So, welcome to the PPLS class of 2024. And what this talk is it's an introduction to the School of Philosophy, Psychology and Language Sciences. And in it, we're going to have a chance to get to know each other. We're going to find out something about what it is that you need to do this week and who will be able to help you, not just this week, but for the rest of your time in Edinburgh. And we're going to try and answer your questions at the end of the session. So welcome to the School of Philosophy, Psychology and Language Sciences. Wherever you're from, whether you're from the other side of the world, the other side of Europe, the other side of the border with England, the other side of Scotland, or even just the other side of our local park, the Meadows, you're very, very welcome here. My name's Holly Brannigan and I'm the school, and I'm really happy to welcome you to join our community. And I'm joined today on this call by other members of the school, including our undergraduate teaching director, Pavel, who you will have been receiving emails from, our senior tutor, Sue, Steph and Annie from our teaching office, Sheehan, Sarah and Emma from our student support office, Brittany and Megan from our office team, and last but definitely not least, Nikki, our PPLS student rep, and Nathan and Ariane from our student societies. And I'll be introducing them as I go along, and you'll have a chance to see them and to get to know them. So the first thing I want to do is to find out where everyone is from. So we've got a poll here. It only lets us put down 5 options. We've had to put some together. So tell us, where are you all from? So we've got lots of people joining us from UK. Some from the rest of Europe. Got some people joining us from North and South America. Well done on getting up. I know this is probably very, very early for you. People joining us from Asia, and it's probably very late for you. And we've got some people joining us from Africa and Oceania. And there are some people who haven't responded yet. Where are you from? So 20 people who haven't told us, because they're probably still deciding where they are. Maybe it's too early in the day. Well, wherever you are from, welcome to Edinburgh. I'm really glad that you're joining us, as I said. What I want to find out now is, are you currently in Edinburgh? So click on the poll and tell us, are you in Edinburgh or are you somewhere else? And you can use the chat box on the right-hand side to tell us exactly where you're coming from. So whether you're from Bristol or Brisbane or Beijing or Buffalo, tell us in the chat box. Hi, Megan, you're joining us from not too far away, from Stirling. Samuel's in Hong Kong. We've got Selena in Beijing, Amsterdam, Barcelona, Livingston, the Philippines. Oh, somebody stuck in Glasgow and Motherwell. South Africa. Fantastic, Gemma, welcome. Lara's hoping to join us in Edinburgh next week. Liam's in Edinburgh. Juan in Malaysia. Stephanie in Guangzhou. We've got people from all over the place. So, welcome to you all. Some of you are obviously very close. Some of you are a little bit further away. So here's Edinburgh on a lovely sunny day. And here's exactly where I am. So I'm right here where the arrow is pointing. So round there is the Dugald Stewart building, which is one of the PPLS buildings. It's not quite as sunny as that today. So what we're going to talk about now, and Megan, can you put us on to the next slide, is what the School of Philosophy, Psychology and Language Sciences, or PPLS, actually is. We normally call it PPLS because that's much easier to say. Well, PPLS is a community that brings together people who share an interest in exploring questions that are related to philosophy, psychology, and language and cognitive sciences, and the staff who support our learning, teaching, and research on these questions. And when we say that it's made up of people who are interested in exploring these questions, that means you. So PPLS is a big and very welcoming community that's made up of academic staff like myself, our undergraduate teaching director Pavel, and our senior tutor Sue, support staff like Steph, Annie, Sheehan, Emma, Megan and Brittany, and Sarah, and most importantly, students like Nikki, Nathan and Ariane, and of course, you. And within that community, each of you will be especially closely associated with staff and students who are specifically interested in philosophy, psychology, linguistics, and cognitive science, depending on which degree program you're studying on. But you'll find that you're also likely to have a lot in common with other members of PPLS because they're very closely related subjects in many respects. So philosophers are likely to have a lot in common with psychologists and linguists and cognitive sciences, and vice versa. So I'm a really good example of this. My undergraduate degree was in linguistics. I did a PhD in cognitive science, and I'm now a professor in psychology here. So I've studied in 3 of our 4 areas, and I'm sure that you will find that people who are not just the people on your degree program, but all of the other students will have lots in common with you too. So who here is studying philosophy, psychology, linguistics, and cognitive science? Give us a vote and we'll show you results in a moment. Everybody's still voting? And the numbers are creeping up. Still got a few people who are trying to remember what they're studying here. That might be the people in North and South America where I know it's very early in the morning. So we've still got some people who haven't voted, but I'll show you the responses that we've got so far. Fiona, I know the problem. When you're studying more than one subject, if you're doing a degree, just pick one. Pavel, I'd like to say that we're still all learners. Nathan, that's not fair to influence people. Choose linguistics, says Ariane. So that's the results we've had so far. 28 people still thinking about it. So whichever subject you're studying, welcome to you all. We're looking forward to getting to know you, and you'll all get to know each other over the next few years. This is just the start of what I hope is going to be a long and very happy journey, an exciting journey too, and we're going to be alongside you all of the way. So what we want to do now is actually give you a chance to get to know each other a bit and for us to get to know you a bit. And for that, we're going to use Menti. So go to menti.com and use the code 2295800 to join the interactive session. You can use whatever username you like when you'll include one. This works best on your mobile phone, but you can also use your laptop or tablet. Ivana, I feel for you. At 7 a.m. you must be very sleepy. You need more coffee. So menti.com and use the code 2295800. And now we're going to have a chance to find out a little bit more about you. So the question is, are you half asleep right now? Ivana, I suspect that you and some of the other people who are currently in other earlier time zones are going to be feeling very, very sleepy. The numbers are creeping. You can see what other people are answering. Okay, so some of you are asleep right now. Okay, so next question, please, Megan. Have you had breakfast this morning? Oh, there are some hungry people out there. So it looks like in PPLS we have lots of people. Jennifer, someone will help you. It looks like most of our new PPLS students are people who like to get their breakfast in. Okay, so most of you have had breakfast. The question is, what did you have for breakfast? Lots of people like cereal. Not as much coffee as I was expecting. And we've got some people who are typically Scottish because they've had porridge. That's a good Scottish breakfast. We've got toast, granola. Some people are very sadly saying they have had nothing. Juan, can you remember what you had for breakfast? I know it was a long time ago for those of you who are in Asia, but see if you can remember. So I can see that at least some of you have got something to thank the University of Edinburgh for already, because at least some of you had toast for breakfast. And what you may not know is that the electric toaster was invented by a University of Edinburgh graduate, Alan McMaster. So there you go. Those of you who had toast, if you had toast from an electric toaster, it's Alan McMaster that you should be thanking for it. And indirectly, the University of Edinburgh has already contributed something to you. Okay, next question, and this is an important question. Do you prefer cats or dogs? At least if you're looking for the answers, you need to look on the display for the Collaborate talk that we're in. The Menti on your phone won't show you the answers. You need to look at the screen for the answers. Chana, you're going to have to pick. It's either cats or dogs. You can't have both. It looks like there's a slight preference in PPLS for dogs. Skateboarding dachshunds. Okay, the next question. Movies. What kind of movies do we prefer in PPLS? Are you action movies, rom-com movies, sci-fi, comedy? Elise, I'm so sorry that your connection can't display video right now. At the moment, I can tell you that comedy movies are winning, followed by rom-coms, followed by sci-fi. Action movies are coming in a very poor fourth. We thought about including horror movies, and then we thought, no, let's stick to the cheerful things a minute. One is suggesting Tenet. I'd say sci-fi, or is it action? Who knows? Haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So it looks as though overall comedy won slightly. What we want to find out now is what have you done during lockdown? So which of these lockdown things have you done? Did you watch Tiger King on Netflix? Did you make banana bread? Did you complete a home workout? Did you make a TikTok? Did you take part in a Zoom quiz? And you can pick more than one, by the way. Did you just chill? And did you make a sourdough starter? Tilly went viral on TikTok. Tilly, you'll have to tell us all more about it. I didn't make a TikTok, and I didn't make a sourdough starter, but I did make banana bread. And took part in a Zoom quiz. Dora says that Joe Exotic is from her home state. So most people just chilled. We've got lots of people who chilled, followed by home workouts. I am shamed by you all. We didn't do a home workout. I made banana bread, so I probably should have done a home workout. Okay, next question. Which do you prefer, skateboard or scooter? Oh, we've got lots of scooter peoples here. Scooters are winning at the moment. Skateboards are creeping up. Still got a few more answers to come in. Don't know about electric scooters in Edinburgh. Is it too hilly? Possibly. I know, Sophie, we like to ask the hard questions in this school. That's what university is all about, answering the hard questions. Okay, next question. What's the weather like where you are at the moment? So here in Edinburgh, it's definitely cloudy. Stormy, grey, dreich, which is a good Scottish word meaning grey and overcast. Partly sunny. Whoever's got sunny weather, I really, really envy you. I would love to see some sun at the moment. Really sunny. Okay, I would go for really sunny. Edinburgh-esque, I think that means grey. So we've got a really interesting mixture here between cloudy and sunny. Okay, my next question for you all, and this is my favourite one. If you had a superpower, what would it be? Would it be being able to freeze water with a single glance? Would it be passing exams without revising? Would it be turning objects into jelly? Or would it be making other people sneeze? At the moment, we have a very, very clear winner. Most people would like the superpower of passing exams without revising. Pavel and I are shocked, absolutely shocked. Elena says, is it just passing or doing well, though? Passing, I think. There are some people who are interested in freezing water with a single glance, though. Pavel's pointing out it's a good thing there are no exams in PPLS in this semester then. Absolutely true. Okay, next one. Which do you prefer? Instagram, TikTok, or neither? We've got a clear winner here in Instagram. So it looks like, oh yeah, Instagram is the clear winner. Few people on TikTok. Was it Tilly who had a viral hit earlier on TikTok? And there's a healthy bunch of people who don't like either. And that's absolutely fine. We are a diverse bunch in PPLS. We welcome people, whatever it is that they do and whatever it is that they like to do. Oh, people are very keen on Twitter, clearly. Right, the next question. Which of these activities would you enjoy most? Paddleboarding, reading a novel, mountain biking, watching Netflix, or baking a cake? And these are all things that you can do in Edinburgh with reasonable degrees of comfort. Paddleboarding is quite cool in the winter. Nathan can't choose between books and Netflix. Sorry, Nathan, you have to come down one or the other. Pavel is pointing out that Twitter is so outdated. I'm sorry, Sheehan, you can't eat cake while watching Netflix. Okay, we'll allow watching Netflix and eating cake, but not watching Netflix and baking a cake. So on this poll, I can see that it's fairly evenly split between people who want to who prefer to read a novel and people who would prefer to watch a film or watch TV. There's a bit less enthusiasm for paddleboarding and for baking a cake, and I'm afraid mountain biking is coming in definitely at the back of the queue. The people who are mountain biking, there's other people who enjoy it too, but there are fewer people that enjoy reading novels and watching Netflix. All right, next question. Which of these do you prefer? Tea, coffee, smoothie, or fizzy drink? And fizzy drink in Scotland often means iron brew, which is bright orange and will rot your teeth. Nathan's going for bubble tea. Bubble tea can be included in tea, I think, Nathan. Ariane is going for water. Ari, you are so boring. Connor, you're right. Iron brew is made from Gurtas. Caramel ice latte sounds good. but sweet. Hot chocolate. Tea's come at the top so far. So, FEMA, we're not allowing booze in this poll, but that's not to say you can't have it. Okay, so in PPLS at the moment, we have a clear preference for tea, but there's lots of people who like coffee too. All right, next question. If you could stop one thing from happening, what would you stop? Your mobile phone running out of battery, having to tell the class an interesting fact about yourself, dripping taps, or people who chew with their mouths open? Ali, we can't get political, I'm afraid. The only 4 options you can choose from are your mobile phone running out, telling the class a fact about yourself, dripping taps, or people who chew with their mouths open. And as you can see, it's fairly evenly split. People don't like having to tell the class a fact about themselves, but they also don't like people who chew with their mouths open. I feel for you, I agree. And we've all suffered mobile phones running out of battery. We know the pain that that can cause. Kristin, too political, I'm afraid. We're not going to go into that here. Okay, now let's turn something a little bit more local. These are all Scottish things. Have you ever eaten haggis, climbed Arthur's Seat, which is our local mountain, watched Train Spotting, or been to Loch Ness, where you may or may not have seen the monster? And you can pick more than one here. If you've not done any of them, you don't have to vote. Hopefully you will get a chance to do this while you're with us. And you can eat both vegetarian haggis or traditional haggis. Right, Nessie is not a monster. Nessie is a misunderstood creature who doesn't normally exist. A fantastic creature. Let's put it that way rather than a monster. So haggis, I'm surprised to see that haggis is the most commonly experienced of these. But as I said, hopefully you'll have a chance to try at least some of these while you're with us. Okay, another Scottish question. Which of these Scottish foods have you tried? A tatty scone, a Tunnock's tea cake, stovies, or haggis? So for those of you who haven't tried them yet, tatty scones are thin, flat scones that you have with breakfast made out of potatoes. So tatty is another word for potato. Tunnock's tea cake, it's scone definitely, Nathan. I'm a scone person rather than a scone person. A Tunnock's tea cake is a type of biscuit with chocolate around it and marshmallow fluff on top. Go for it, Phoebe. Eat it now. Stovies are, well, I'm not entirely sure what stovies are. They involve potato and sausages, I think. And haggis is, I'm not going to tell you what haggis is. If you knew, you wouldn't want to eat it. Haggis is still coming out on top. Personally, I would recommend the tatty scones. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What kind of degree are you doing? Are you doing a single honours degree, so that's just one subject, or are you doing a joint honours degree, so that's more than one subject, so that might be philosophy and linguistics, or psychology and business studies? Okay, we've got Lely's single on. Lely's joint on. Sorry, is it linguistics and English language? Yes, that's joint honours. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of. Yes, forgive me, Pavel. It's single honours, Lel. Sorry, I was thinking of one of the other ones. Okay, so the next question is, how are you feeling about starting university? So lots of people are feeling excited. Some people are feeling nervous. Some people are feeling anxious. Overwhelmed. Yes, there's a lot going on at the moment. Confused, uncertain, confident, happy. It's good to see that everybody has mixed feelings, I can tell, but it's good to see lots of people are feeling excited. We're going to be talking about that in a moment. We're also going to be talking a little bit about feeling nervous and anxious and confused. And I hope that by the end of this talk, you will be feeling less nervous, less anxious, less uncertain, and more excited and more happy. And also feeling that you've been welcomed, because we're really, really pleased that you're joining us here. Okay, next question. What are you looking forward to most about starting university? You can see that people are interested in learning, in meeting people, making new friends, independence. And that's great, because what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be telling you about learning, but we're also going to be talking about how you can meet people, how you can make new friends, and also, I hope, giving you a chance through this quiz and other things to get an idea of the other people in PPLS who you're going to be with for the next few years and what it is that you can do together. So it's good to see that the two things that are coming up most are learning and meeting people, stroke making new friends. Now, we're going to move on back to the PowerPoint slides for a moment, but don't leave Menti. We're going to come back to Menti, so don't quit your Menti browser. Just keep onto it for a moment, because we're going to come back to it later. So we've just been finding out about how most of you feel about starting university and what it is that you're most excited about. And we can see that you're excited, you're anxious. And I think that some of you, sorry, I'm going to just go back. We're slightly out of sync here. Right, that some of you might be sitting there wondering what you're doing here. So I'm assuming that you're in the right talk, but you might be wondering whether you're in the right place. Should you be in PPLS? It's clear that some of you are excited and some of you are feeling uncertain and nervous and anxious about the forthcoming days and weeks and semester and years maybe. And that is absolutely normal and understandable. We're in a very unusual situation here, and starting university is always difficult. So the first thing that I want to do is to pay tribute to all of you for coming through all of the things that have happened over the last year, the last few months, and for your resilience in making it here at all. We've been through an unprecedented period over the last few months, and you in particular have been through an incredibly difficult and challenging time. Many of you have had your education disrupted. You've not been able to see friends. There may have been uncertainty about whether you would have a place in Edinburgh, uncertainty about whether you'd be able to travel, uncertainty about where you might be living, and uncertainty about what it will be like this year. So starting university is always exciting and unusual and an adventure in a normal year, and this is very much not a normal year. And some of you might be wondering about whether you're really meant to be a student in PPLS in the first place. Have we made a mistake? Well, I really do want to reassure you that you really are meant to be here. And you are here because you chose us and we chose you. So you might have chosen us because Edinburgh is a beautiful city and has wonderful weather. I'm saying wonderful weather, I'm crossing my fingers, it's not always wonderful. And you're right about both of those things, at least up to a point with the weather. It's definitely a beautiful city. But I hope that you've also chosen us because we're a wonderful university and a wonderful school. And we have chosen you because we're confident that we have something to offer you, and equally that you have something to offer us. Now, you have to trust us here. We are the experts. We know that you have everything it takes to succeed here, to grow and to achieve your potential, and we will do whatever we can to support you through your time with us. We know that things will be different this year. We can't do things in the way that we usually do in order to make sure that we all stay safe and secure. And that means that we can't do everything that we would like to do. But we have been working very hard since the situation started to make sure that we give you the best experience that we can, given all the constraints we're working under, and that we're able to respond as quickly as we can, however the situation might be, whatever the changes might be. Our primary concern is to give you the best learning experience that we can. Sometimes things will go wrong. Of course, things always go wrong, but we're committed to giving you the best experience that we can, whatever the situation, however it might change, and to supporting you throughout whatever happens. And there is all kind of support that will be available to you through this year and throughout your time with us. And I'm going to come on to some of that and the more specific details later in this meeting. And there'll be plenty of opportunity for you to ask general questions today. For questions specifically about your studies, so about your program and about your course, you'll be able to ask those questions in the subject-specific welcome meetings that are taking place later this week. So as I said, some of the things that will happen this year will be different, but what isn't different is that you are joining a very special university with a long history. And our proud claim is that we have been influencing the world in this university since 1583. Now, 1583 was when we admitted our first students, and at that point it was all men. But we're very proud of the fact that Edinburgh was the first British university to accept women as undergraduates 150 years ago this year. And ever since we've had a diverse and welcoming student body. And allowing for a couple of breaks since 1583 because of the Black Plague to start with. So we've successfully dealt with a global pandemic before, and Bonnie Prince Charlie's Rebellion. What that means is that you are joining around 480 cohorts of students before you. So you're becoming part of a very long and a very proud history. And we're extremely proud of our students and what they've gone on to achieve. So our previous students who've come from all over the world include the scientists Charles Darwin, James Clerk Maxwell and Sheila Tinney, the medics Wong Fun, Gertrude Hertzfeld and James Young Simpson, social reformers like Florence Nwapa, Lim Boon Keng, Bandeli Omaniyi and Ruth Adler, and authors Yuen Chang Ying and Sarojini Naidu. 3 of the UK's Prime Ministers are former students of the University of Edinburgh. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you to decide whether we should be proud of those Prime Ministers or not. But nevertheless, that's UK Prime Ministers. And we've also had as graduates 9 other heads of state and government, and no fewer than 3 signatories to the US Declaration of Independence. And we have 23 Nobel Prize winners associated with the university, including most recently Peter Higgs of Higgs boson fame. So you're becoming part of a community with a lot to be proud of. We're proud of what our former students have gone on to do, but we're also really proud of what our current students are doing, both in their studies and in their contribution to the diverse and inclusive community that we enjoy here. And we know that each of you is the right person to be here, and we're proud that you have chosen us and chosen to become part of our community. And I want to make sure that each of you feels that you are a welcome and valued member of our community. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever you're studying, we're glad that you're joining us and you are welcome in our community. Now, one of the things that you also said when you were asked about what you're most excited about was learning. And I'm really pleased to hear, because as a university, our mission is to discover, develop and share knowledge. That's what we do. So the community you're becoming part of today is a community of learners whose job is to discover, develop and share knowledge. I hope you're going to make the most of your time in Edinburgh to make new friends, to discover new places, to have new adventures and find out more about who you are and what you want out of life. But I also hope that you will make the most of the opportunities here to discover, develop and share knowledge. The people who will be teaching you here are experts in their field and are passionate about what they do. If you give me a chance, for example, I'll happily talk to you all day about how people represent language in their minds, which is my specialist interest. Just ask my friends, ask my family. They're usually trying to shut me up about it. So we're all delighted as academics that you've joined our community, and we want you to help you make the most of it. We want to inspire and to challenge you. The way in which we're teaching you this year may be different in some ways, but the expertise that we have is the same, and we will make sure that we share that knowledge and expertise with you. And you're especially lucky because this is a huge university with a huge range of courses. One of the lovely things about Edinburgh University is that you don't just study your own specialist subject. In your first 2 years, you have the chance to study other subjects as well. So make the most of it, grasp these opportunities, learn things you'll never have the chance to learn again. Be ambitious and adventurous, challenge yourselves. And I want to share with you a quote. You are now in a place where the best courses upon earth are within your reach. Such an opportunity you will never again have. I would therefore strongly press on you to fix no other limit to your stay in Edinburgh than your having got through this whole course. The omission of any one part of it will be an affliction and a loss to you as long as you live. So that was someone who was trying to encourage someone to make the most of being at Edinburgh. And in fact, that was one of the American founding fathers, one of the authors of the Declaration of Independence, writing to his son-in-law, who was a student here in 1786. And nothing has changed. You have an amazing opportunity to learn here, and I hope you will all make the most of it. Now, before we talk about some of the practical things that you're going to need to do to start with, and I introduce you to some of the people who will be welcoming you here and supporting you, not just this week, but throughout your university career, let's have a little non-competitive quiz to see how much you know about Edinburgh. So we're going to switch back to Menti now. Get your phones ready. And just to remember that the code is, now I need to check the code myself here. The code is 2, sorry, I'm just looking back on it so you can get in if you haven't already joined Menti. Where are we going? It's right back to the top. Oh, I can't find the code. Wait for a moment. We've lost it. The code is, I've lost the code. Hang on just one sec, folks. 2295800. Okay, thank you, Megan. Right, so we've got some Scottish questions for you now. Are we ready to start? Okay. Can you move on to the first question, please, Megan? Okay, we say points. Actually, this is non-competitive. Which is further north of the equator, okay? Which is further north of the equator, Moscow or Edinburgh? And the answer is Edinburgh. So well done, those of you who guessed Edinburgh correctly. It is indeed Edinburgh. It's very slightly further north than Moscow. Okay, next question. Oh, what happened there? So second question. Oh, I don't know what's happened there. Never mind. We'll just move on to the third question, Megan. Oh dear, hang on a sec. It's crashed. Hang on just a moment. And we're just going to get it back up. Sorry, everybody. We've had a Menti crash. Pavel, I didn't realize you were from Moscow. And remember, while we're just getting it back online, remember that this is not competitive. It's not the philosophers versus the psychologists versus the linguists versus the cognitive scientists, even though it might feel that way. Hang on, Fiona, we're just trying to get it back up online. Okay, question 2. Let's see if we can get this one to work now. I think the Menti site, maybe because everybody's doing quizzes. Okay, what's the highest temperature ever recorded in Edinburgh? Ever. Was it 18.3 degrees C, 31.2 degrees C or 25.9 degrees C. And I'm sorry, Nathan, if you can only think in Fahrenheit, tough. So people think it was 31.2. Yes, it was indeed 31 degrees C. Okay, let's think about the opposite end of the scale. So if we move on to the next question, at the opposite end of the scale, oh no, it crashed again, hang on a sec. Okay, we're just getting it back up. What's the average temperature in Edinburgh in January, which is our coldest month? Was it -5? Is it -5 degrees C, 1 degree C, or -2 degrees C? Quinn thinks it's probably warmer than Moscow. I don't know. You have to decide. What do people think? So most people guess 1 degree C. It's absolutely true. In Edinburgh, even in our coldest month, the average temperature is 1 degree C. It doesn't get as cold as freezing or below freezing. Okay. Ariane says the average temperature in Moscow is -5 in January, so we definitely win over Moscow in one way. I'm glad you're feeling reassured, Quinn. Honestly, it doesn't get that bad here in winter. Question 4. Oh, we've got a crash again. Hang on a sec. Menti is obviously struggling under the weight of people voting. Which happened first? Dum, dum, dum. What are the options here? Was it the signing of the United States Declaration of Independence, building St. Paul's Cathedral in London, the founding of the University of Edinburgh, the building of the Taj Mahal, or the death of William Shakespeare? What do people think? Well, I kind of gave it away in my intro, didn't I? Yes, it was indeed the founding of the University in Edinburgh in 1583. We've been here a long time. We've survived a lot. Next question. Which of these items that we're about to give you was not invented by a University of Edinburgh scholar? The telephone, the kaleidoscope, or the ATM, or cash till? Time's up. Most people guess the ATM. Okay, trick question, guys. In fact, all of them were invented by University of Edinburgh scholars. Sorry, we cheated. Sorry, Nathan. We're proud of inventing the telephone and the ATM, but especially the kaleidoscope. Okay, question 6. What does it mean if you ken someone in Edinburgh? Does it mean you know them? Does it mean you dislike them? Or does it mean you're married to them? Okay, most people guess that it means you know them, and you're absolutely right. If you ken someone, you know them in Edinburgh. Yes, speaking German does help. Question 7. In Edinburgh, what type of food is a piece? Is it a portion of chips? Is it a sandwich? Is it a pie? Or is it a chewy sweet? Time's running out. Make your choice. Okay, so we're evenly split between a sandwich and a pie. The answer is it's a sandwich. I've got a piece means I've got a sandwich. Useful to know that. Question 8. What do Sherlock Holmes, Peter Pan, and Long John Silver have in common? Is it that they all have statues in Edinburgh? Is it that they all lived in Edinburgh, or is it that they were all created by an Edinburgh graduate? Yep, all correct. We do have a statue of Sherlock Holmes. We don't have one of Peter Pan or Long John Silver. Sherlock Holmes was created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, and Long John Silver by Robert Louis Stevenson. And Nathan's just pointed out that our student newspaper, The Student, was founded by Robert Louis Stevenson too. Right, final question. What does it mean if you're doing your messages in Edinburgh? So if someone said, I'm doing my messages, does it mean that you're doing errands? Does it mean that you're writing letters? Or does it mean that you're checking your emails? Right, so quite a lot of people thought it was writing letters or checking email, but most people guessed correctly. It means you're doing your errands. Okay, I have no idea why that's what it means. It baffled me when I moved to Edinburgh too, but there you go. So that's the end of the quiz on your local knowledge of Edinburgh. And we've just seen that doing your messages is the Edinburgh way of saying that you're doing your errands or your tasks. So what we're going to do now is talk about some of the tasks that you're going to need to do this week. And then I'll introduce you to the various teams who'll be helping you through this year and the years to come. So I'm going to hand over now to our senior tutor, Sue Widdicombe, who's going to tell you about some key things that you need to do this week. So Sue, would you like to come on and unveil yourself, switch your video on, and you can talk through the tasks. Hi, Sue.
Hi, can you all see me?
Yep.
Brilliant. Okay, well, welcome to Edinburgh. I'm the senior tutor for the school, and just wanted to say a few words in preparation for next week, and I'm sure you're all really keen to get started on your courses and on the learning that you're here for. However, there are some things that we need you to do before you get started. And I notice that, some of you are feeling rather overwhelmed. So just to make life easier for you, we've reduced the really important things to 4, and you have until Friday to do these things. So here they are. The first thing we need you to do is to matriculate, and that really means join the university, and we've taken you through the steps to do that. The second thing we need you to do is to submit your course choices. Most courses, in fact all the courses, will have some options that you take alongside that. That's the second thing that we'd like you to do. Again, there are instructions as to how to do that and things to think about while you're doing that. And the third thing we want you to do is meet your personal tutor. And again, your page on Learn will show you how to find out who they are, and they will be in touch this week with you. And once you've done those 3 things, do take a look at the student, at the support and wellbeing page. That contains a lot of information, and you probably won't need that information, at least we hope you don't need that information right now, but we'd like to know that you know and that you know where to look. So once you've had a look at the page, just to check that you have paid some attention, there's a little quiz for you to fill out to see how much you've how much you've read of that support page. So those are the 4 things to do, and the secret to all of that, if I can just have the next slide, is to look on the left-hand menu. That is where all is revealed. So on the Undergraduate Student Hub, you will find under Getting Started 4 important tasks. That is where you can locate the things that you need to do. And as you can see on this slide, we've taken you through those steps. So that's the first thing to do. If you get stuck, you will also see on the left-hand menu something called Discussion Board. So any questions you have, please do ask them, and we will answer them. We realize this is all kind of, it's new for all of us, and we are here to try and sort of make this as easy as we can. And then the final thing, you can find the support and wellbeing page, and that will be there all the time. Okay, I can see some questions coming up, and I will do my best to answer those for you. How do you get to the undergraduate hub? Through MyEd, it will be there amongst the courses that you have. How do you matriculate? There are some steps here, but effectively there is an online form that you fill in. You can register for your optional courses before your meeting with your personal tutor. Yes, and that's why we set up the discussion board, and we've taken you through some of the questions there. So do sign up for your courses before you meet them. That doesn't mean that you can't talk to your personal tutor about those, but you can do that separately.
Questions about personal tutors. I think we'll come on to that at the end if we can. So I think there are various questions, if you don't mind, Sue. People, hold your questions and we will, or put them in the chat, and we'll come back to the questions at the end. Is that okay? Okay, so we'll come back to the questions in. Put your questions in the chat, so because it may be that we'll answer some of the questions as we go along. That's great. Thanks very much, Sue. Okay. And you'll have a chance to ask Sue questions at the end, and the other members of the teams that we're going to be talking about. So what I'm going to do now is to introduce you to the rest of the teams who will be helping you. So you've got the 4 key things that you need to do. Just go back to that slide briefly. You need to matriculate, submit your course choices, meet your personal tutor, and you should be hearing about that very shortly if you haven't already done so. Your personal tutor will be getting in touch with you, and take a look at the support and wellbeing page. Okay, so let me introduce you then to some of the people who can help you during your study here. So there are lots of people who are here to support you, and you're probably wondering, who do you ask about different things? So I just want to go through the different groups and the different teams who are going to be able to help you with different questions that you have, and to introduce you. So I'm going to start off with the Student Support Office. And the Student Support Office is the group of people who can help you with your go-to team, basically, who can help you with anything and everything. Basically, if they don't know the answer, they will always help you find the right answer. So I'm going to hand over to Sheehan now. Sheehan, are you there? Would you like to just say something about the Student Support Office? I'm hoping Sheehan can join us. There we go. So I think she's just bringing her video camera up so we can see her, and switching her mic on. Oh, I can see that Sheehan is there, but I can't hear her yet. Are you there, Sheehan? We're having problems getting Sheehan to join us. So just while Sheehan's getting the tech problems sorted out. No, I can't hear you at the moment, Sheehan. Are you on mute? By the way, folks, in the chat down the right-hand side, any answers that come in which are on a blue background, that's somebody who is either is one of the the moderators on this course. That's one of the organisers of this talk who's giving you answers. If the background is white, then it's another student. Sheehan is unmuted, but we can't hear her at the moment. You might want to leave the call and rejoin, Sheehan, maybe in Chrome if you're not in that. Just in the meantime, while Sheehan's trying to get that to work, just to explain that the student support officers offer support for dealing with personal issues that might interfere with your studies. The kind of things that they might deal with is if you have been unwell or you need to be absent. They can give you information about university support students, including learning adjustments if you need them, and they can also give you advice and information about universities' procedures and regulations. Emma or Sarah, while Sheehan's trying to get sorted out, would either of you like to say something? Okay, I think we're having a few technical problems on that, so I'm going to move on and we'll come back to the Student Support Office in a moment if we can. Okay, so the Student Support Office can help you with personal difficulties that might be affecting your studies. The Undergraduate Teaching Office are the people who can tell you, give you information about your courses and your degree program. It's the place to start if you've got any queries about your degree program. So it's the main point of contact for all queries. They deal with administrative support for students on all undergraduate courses and programs. They coordinate undergraduate teaching across the school, and they do things like manage coursework extension requests. So if, for example, you're having problems and you need to get an extension on submitting an essay, it's the teaching office that you would talk to. So can I just ask, is there anybody from the teaching office here who would just like to say hello and just talk a little bit about what they do? So Steph, if you're on the call.
I was waiting for Annie to say something. Sorry, my 3-year-old
Annie, I couldn't see you.
Right. My 3-year-old is in the room currently as well. But we can deal with course choices. The forms that the first years will be filling in will come through to us, and then we will be inputting it for the students. It's slightly different this year, so we are aiming to do it as fast as we can, but hopefully by the end of Welcome Week we should get it in there. Please be patient and do contact us at the start of week 1 of teaching if you can't see your courses. Otherwise, we will have a live chat that will become live very soon once we've read the instructions on how to deal with it from our end. I don't know what else we could possibly say, if Annie's got anything.
That's absolutely fine. I think that's answering the questions that people have. I'm just seeing whether there are any other questions coming up there, but I think we'll answer those as we go along. So that's what the Undergraduate Teaching Office deal with. So the Undergraduate Teaching Office is to do with kind of the administration of courses and programs. As I said, the Student Support Office, just to come back there, the Student Support deal with kind of any personal issues that you might have affecting your studies. Okay. Now, academic support. For that, the first place to look is MyEd. That's where you will have access to your university email and systems, university systems. You'll find course information pages on Learn. That's our kind of the basic landing site. You can find out about the library services. MyEd is also where you would look to find out what grades you've got for various assessments. And you can also get course transcripts through MyEd. So that's kind of the first website that you should look at. But in addition, if you need academic support, you can also ask your personal tutor. So your personal tutor is the person who provides academic guidance and academic support throughout your studies with us. If you've got personal issues affecting your studies, it's the student support officers to talk to. If you need academic guidance, though, it's the personal tutor who can help you. So they can give you advice on course choices, and they can give you and they can write academic references. Sue, would you like to, if I come back to you, Sue, as our senior tutor, would you just like to say a little bit more about the personal tutors and what they do?
Yes. Hi again. So your personal tutor is somebody who is there. It's your point of contact between you and the university. They're there to provide you with academic guidance and mentoring. So what do we mean by that? Well, for example, you might want to talk to them about courses and whether you've chosen the right courses, and that's fine. Although you can do that without speaking to them. You might want to talk to them about managing your time, or maybe you've done an essay and you want to talk to them about feedback, on your essay. You might want to talk to them about how to improve your work if you, you're wanting to sort of think about moving up to the next grade or something. So for all these kind of areas, you can go and speak to your personal tutor. Now, your personal tutor will be in touch this week to invite you to a group meeting. And so one of the things about these group meetings is that they will provide you or get you started with some academic advice, but they're also going to be a really good way of meeting your fellow tutees. And one of the things about our academic journey is it's a shared journey, shared not just with academic staff, but also each other. And so your personal tutor group is going to provide you with a way of meeting other people, but also having those kind of conversations that I'm sure we've all kind of want to get into at some point, like, what other courses are you doing? How are you getting on with that essay? What do you think about the lectures? Have you read this article, and so on? So your personal tutor group is going to be a group where you can share that kind of information and, as I say, also talk to your personal tutor. And you should hear from your personal tutor this week to invite you to do that meeting.
Okay. Thanks very much, Sue. So that's what your personal tutor can support you with. So as I said, personal issues, it's the Student Support Office. Academic issues, it's your personal tutor. We also have a writing centre, the PPLS Writing Centre, and that's something that we organise within the school, which offers help with academic writing specifically. So they have workshops on academic writing skills, and they can also offer one-to-one appointment with academic writing tutors if you're having problems with things like how to write essays. So watch out for more information about that. That will be forthcoming. And in particular, when you're starting your first year, you might be interested in the workshops that we run. And at the university level, there's something called the Institute for Academic Development, which offers all kinds of help with academic skills. They have a study hub that offers tips, advice, and downloadable fact sheets. And you'll be able to find all of that on the web. More generally, if you want to ask about anything, a good starting point is EdHelp. So EdHelp brings together all the frequently used student services, meaning that you can find what you need all in one place. So it ensures that you find the information and the help you need in an easy to find way, so that you spend less time searching. So if EdHelp can't answer your question straight away, they'll still make sure that it's answered. So a good starting point, if you want to know how to do something, look at EdHelp, and that will tell you. So that's the support that's available to you, and we will be here all the way through to help you with everything that you need. So we've introduced you to some of the people who can help you during your studies, and what I kind of want to end up with now is just some tips for how to make the most of university. There's also a lot of advice available on the university website in all kinds of places, so do go and read that, and read about, for example, how to make the most of learning at university in general, how to make the most of learning using digital resources, and so on. So from our poll, I can see that some of you are still feeling half asleep. I can see that not all of you actually started off with any breakfast today. So my first top tip is, personal top tip, is make sure you get into a routine. It's really important to give yourself a routine and a structure to your day. So make sure that you do get up and have something to eat before you start studying, and try and get up at a reasonably regular time. My second top tip is that you should actively manage your time. Make yourself a timetable for the week and try to stick to it. And in fact, what I used to do when I was an undergraduate student was to tick off my hours as I did them, my study hours. You should be spending about 10 to 15 hours studying for each 20 credit course that you're doing every week. And when we say studying, that means going to classes, reading, preparing, writing essays, doing assessments, and so on. So what you're really aiming for when people say, how much studying should I be doing, is that overall, across all of your subjects, you should be aiming to do a normal working week, about 35 to 40 hours on study-related activity, going to classes, reading, preparing, writing essays, doing assessments. If you can tick off those hours as you do them, then you can be happy at the end of the week that you've done enough and enjoy your time off without worrying that you're not doing enough or feeling guilty. So as I said, I found it really useful to say, I'm aiming to do this many hours, and then I would just tick them off as I did them. And my third top tip, a really important one, is to get involved and take part. So participate in tutorials, join in with discussions, set up study groups with your friends to go through things together. Don't feel embarrassed or shy about saying things. The more you put in at university, the more you will get out. And the one thing that I hear most of all from students who are in their final year at university, when I say, what have you learned, is them saying, I wish I'd said more. I wish I'd got involved more earlier on. I'm doing it this year in my 4th year, but I wish I'd got involved more in my 1st and 2nd year. So people look back and say, I wish that I'd actually spoken up. As I said, staff want to talk to you. Other students want to talk to you. One way of getting involved is to get involved with student societies, and you'll hear more about the societies and the activities they have coming up in just a moment. But first of all, let's hear from Pavel, our undergraduate director, who's been emailing you over the months about his top tips for making the most of your 1st year. So Pavel, what would your top tips be for our new students about how to make the most of their time with us this year? We'll just let Pavel decloak and switch his microphone on.
Yeah, can you see?
Can hear you, Pavel.
Right. You hear me now?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, good. Yep. So, hello, lovely to see you. At least there's names on the screen. Yeah, so I'm, as Holly says, I'm the undergraduate teaching director for the school. I am going to be teaching some of you, because you all should be taking LEL1A, and I'll be there to help you with that. But in terms of the top tips, I mean, I think the 2 things that I really want to impress on you is, first, there's a big difference from going from school to university, and obviously a lot of you, you could see on the Mentimeter, you were apprehensive and you were worried about what the difference is going to be. And I'm just going to tell you straight up what that biggest difference is going to be. And that difference is going to be that we will be really leaving you to it, in a sense. We will really be expecting you to really take ownership of your learning, and not to tell you what to do and how to do it. We will be giving you things to learn and expect you to learn them. And that is exciting, and it's interesting, and it's also quite hard. So the good news, and my second top tip, is we know that, and we are here to help you. The biggest mistake you can make as a 1st year is to think, my academics are too busy to see me, I'm not important, I don't want to be bothering them. We are desperate for you to come and talk to us. We're absolutely desperate to see you and to talk to you and to help you. Can I get an amen? So it is going to be different, and it is going to be, and the biggest way in which it's going to be different is that you will be on your own. But the good news is you won't be just on your own. We are here to help you. So please come and speak to us. Come and speak to your tutors. Come and speak to your lecturers. Come and speak to your personal tutors. We're really, really, here to help you succeed. And if you put in the work that you need to put in to, kind of get in front, then to proceed and advance in the studies, then you will really get lots out of it. But don't feel like on your own, and basically just please come and speak to us, whether we have office hours, whether we have whether you can catch us, hopefully, as we do move on campus, over time. We are here to help. So please don't think that you're not important. You are really the most important part of this university for us. So please remember that. I think those are my 2 top tips.
That's great. Thanks, Pavel. So this is a good point for me to introduce Nikki, our PPLS student rep, and Nathan and Ariane from the student societies, who can tell you their top tips for starting your first year and a little bit of information about what they do. So Nikki, Nathan and Ariane, would you like to uncloak as well now and say something about what it is that you do, what your top tips are, and the student societies?
Hi everyone, I'll start. So I'm the school rep for PPLS, which means that I'm your representation in the student council. And that means that I'm a good point of contact for you if you have any questions, if you need contact with the staff and don't know how to get to it, or just in general, like I'm here for you with any questions you might have. So my degree is philosophy and English language, or sorry, philosophy and English literature. I saw somebody put that down earlier, which is really cool because there aren't that many of us on that joint honors. So welcome to the group. Hi, Megan. I'm sure I'll be meeting you in the future. I look forward to that very much. So I wanted to start with my main top tip for first year, which is something I wish that I'd done at the very beginning and wish I knew how to do better, which is that the university experience is here for you, but you have to take charge of it. There are so many people and so many resources available to you if you look for them. And of course, the resources are going to be a bit different this year, but there's so much to explore. So it is up to you to reach out and look for those resources, but basically anything you might need, there's something available for you. So just reach out, just ask, just explore. It's up to you to shape the experience that you want to have at university. I also would say all of those tips for digital learning are so great because I did some of my high school digitally, and having a set schedule is like the top thing. It's so hard if you don't have a schedule. So that means like scheduling everything, not just your lectures and note-taking and stuff, but like scheduling, okay, I'm going to study this course for this 2 hours, and this is specifically what I'm going to do in it, because otherwise it's really easy for your time to just fall apart.
Thanks, Nikki.
I think that was all I wanted to say for that. So I'll pass on to Nathan and Ariane if they wanted to have anything to add.
Nathan.
Yeah. Hi, guys. My name's Nathan. I'm from the great state of Kentucky in the best country in the world. I study philosophy and mathematics. I'm entering my 3rd year. And I am one of the 2 co-presidents of the Philosophy Society this year. Yeah, USA, baby. So my advice is, I guess, like, one of the things I'm happiest about my Edinburgh experience is the fact that I decided to jump in immediately to philosophy and math. If you have Brian Rayburn as your PT, please message him. He's adorable. He's also your Logic 1 lecturer, and he comes off as mean and grumpy, but he's a sweetheart. Just jump into things. Sophie mentioned that you're a bit concerned about not being able to interact, not physically being in Edinburgh. All of our Philosophy Society events this year are online. Ari is helping run the PPLS Student Societies Initiative, which is a collaboration with all 4 student societies. So Phil, PsychSoc, LingSoc, CogSciSoc, and we're putting on online events. There's 2 of them over these 2 weeks of freshers as well. So just show up, participate. And I don't know, maybe you'll have people follow you on Twitter one day too.
Thanks, Nathan. Ariane.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to share my video, but that is okay. I foresee this happening a lot going forward in this year, so we're just going to have to get used to kind of technology malfunctions. So as Nathan mentioned, I am taking part in running the social media for the PPLS student societies. And a quick summary of what we do is that we are an interdisciplinary society between the 4 student societies that already exist within PPLS. So PPLS is really unique because we have such strong cohesion between all of our subjects. I saw a lot of you guys were doing joint honors in PPLS, which is awesome. I'm single honors linguistics, but it's great to see how many people are kind of doing philosophy and linguistics or that kind of thing. And if so, even if you're doing single honors, this society is for you. We're offering an online pub quiz during Welcome Week, so that's on Friday. And we're also doing platonic speed dating on the 25th, where we'll ask you PPLS-related questions, and you can discuss them with your fellow students for a short period of time and then move on to meet lots of new people. So please do follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're at PPLS Student Societies on Instagram and at PPLS Societies on Twitter. Of course, we're also on Facebook too. On a personal note, the one piece of advice I'd give to you is that you will find your people, but maybe not immediately. Freshers for me was actually probably a really, like, the worst week of first year of uni, because everyone builds it up to be really exciting, and then if you don't jump in, it can feel really stressful and you feel like everyone's already got their friends. And I'm just here to tell you that that could not be further from the truth. I promise you that you will find people who you agree with and who really align with you, both like socially and also academically. The main piece of advice I'd give you is to go and meet your academics. Like Pavel and Holly was saying, they are some of the friendliest people you will ever meet. They use a lot of full stops in emails. They sound a bit scary, but they are absolutely delightful. Their office hours are there for you. I know it can seem like their office hours are there for them to work in, but actually they've set them aside so they can talk to you, and they would love to get to know you all. So if you have a question about an essay or you want to go over a topic in more detail, they would be more than happy to talk to you, especially this year, and especially if you can't make it to campus. So thank you so much, Holly. And to everyone here, you know, please make the most of it. It is an amazing opportunity, and I wish I could do first year again.
Thanks, Ari. So I've put up here the Welcome Week events for the student societies. And then, as Ari said, there's a student societies, all four societies together are hosting an online quiz on Friday, and it's in 2 time slots, 11 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the evening, British summertime. Pick whichever time slot works best for you, because we realize people are in different time zones. Randomized teams so you can meet new people, and you don't need to know anything about any of the PPLS subjects. Okay. Now, finally, I just want to say something about keeping us all safe and well, because I know some people are anxious about that, those of you who are in Edinburgh. We've made substantial adaptations to make sure that everyone in our community stays safe and well. So this includes things like having separate entrances and exits for buildings, one-way routes around buildings, more frequent cleaning. We've got hand sanitizer everywhere. We've got signs to help you maintain physical distance. We're allowing limited numbers of people in rooms and in buildings and so on. We're all part of a community here, and we all have a responsibility to each other to do everything we can to keep everyone in our community safe. We need to be kind. We need to be thoughtful. Some members of our community, students and staff, may be in higher risk categories. This may be because they're older or because they have underlying health conditions which might not always be visible. So it's vital that everybody does their part in respecting the various guidance and guidelines that have been put in place. So let's all do our bit. This is really important, making sure that we are washing our hands and so on. And in particular, everybody is expected to wear face coverings in university buildings, and you must do so in study areas and libraries unless you are exempt. Your mask protects others, their masks protect you. The only problem with masks, of course, is it makes people look slightly different. So if you see me around campus, what you'll normally see me looking like is this. But it's really important that we all respect these guidelines in order to keep people safe. It's important that we also keep social gatherings to no more than 6 people from 2 households, indoors or outdoors. These rules are in place to protect us all. Please do everything you can to keep everyone in our community safe. And please download the NHS Protect Scotland app. This will alert you if you've been in close contact with another app user who's tested positive. It doesn't store or share any personal information or track locations, and by using it, you'll help stop the spread of the virus. So please do your bit to be kind and to keep us all safe. So now we're going to be able to move on to the, oh yes, please read the Good Citizen Guide as well. Brittany's just reminded me. There's a Good Citizen Guide, which is all about following about what the guidelines are, and just kind of gives us a very, very clear idea of what it is that we need to do in order to keep everybody safe and healthy. So now we can take any more questions that you might have. As I said, if you use the raise your hand button and then type your question in the text chat. Any specific questions about your program or your course will be answered at the subject welcome meetings later this week. In particular, I want to highlight that the LEL welcome talk is scheduled for tomorrow at 12 has been moved to Zoom from Collaborate. And people will receive an email with the Zoom link and the password later on today. Try and download Zoom onto your mobile or your computer beforehand if you can. Pavel can answer any questions if you have them, so just email Pavel there. Right, so Jennifer's asking about having a part-time job, and as Nathan said, he worked about 8 hours a week in his first year and it was manageable. It is doable. But you obviously just want to make sure that you manage your time actively, as we were saying earlier. Liz has a question. Liz, what's your question? You can only, Liz asks whether joint honours are only available in the preset combinations on the PPLS webpage, or whether you can create your own combinations. I'm going to pass over to Pavel for that. And then we'll take the question. And then Lorna, would you like to, while Pavel's answering that, Lorna, do you want to type your question into the chat?
Yeah, so in terms of the combined honours, unfortunately, you can graduate only with the degrees that are on the list, as it were. But you need to check. So it's not just PPLS, right? So the degrees are listed on the Horrible Drips website, and you have to see the list of all the degrees. You have to look for the degree program tables, the DPTs, and they go by school. So like there's more degrees in the university than just in PPLS. But if it's not in there, then unfortunately you can't graduate with that. So like if there is a degree in psychology and informatics, then you can't, but you can. So if you're a current psychology student, then you can definitely try to get into the courses that will allow you then to transfer into CogSci, which is basically psychology and informatics, right? And also LEL and philosophy. So that degree definitely exists, and if your interests are, say, in psychology and informatics, then that's what you should be looking for. And if you take the courses that make up at least a chunk of the courses for that degree, then you can get onto that.
Okay. Nona has a question. So I think Nona's question was about library books. There are study materials available online, and you will be told if there is anything that you need to buy. It will vary from course to course, but we are doing our best to make sure that as much material is available online as possible. Pavel, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Holly, yes. So it's not like the US. So it is not the case that for all your courses you have to buy like a $200 textbook, right? That is not the case. So a lot of the readings will be online, or generally we'll try to make sure that people are not out of pocket to study even more, by buying things that you don't have to. Certainly in LEL, for example, in first year, there's just not a textbook anyway. So, and can't really tell about the other courses. I think for psych there is a textbook that's going to be online. I believe that's true. I don't know about philosophy, but you won't be out of pocket for huge textbooks for sure.
Thanks. Eloise, you had a question, and then I'll come back to the other questions that are in the chat. But why is the data handling course for psychology in the first year?
I can answer that.
Yep. Thanks, Pavel.
Yes, sorry. So yes, so DAPR 1, this is the data analysis and programming using R. So it is a course that is obligatory for single honor psychology. For combined honors, it is very strongly recommended. So basically, if you are looking to do any kind of psychology degree, then you need to take its continuation, DAPR 2, in second year, and that is absolutely obligatory. So if you really are thinking about psychology, then you must be taking DAPR 2 next year. Now, if you want to take DAPR 2, then it really, really helps to have done DAPR 1. So it is a really strong recommendation to take it in first year. If you would rather keep your options open and have 40 credits of outside courses, and you don't want to DAPR 1 this year, then it's fine, but you will have to, we will help you, but you would have to study over the summer to kind of get, catch up to DAPR 2. Sorry, I'm on a roll, Holly. I'm happy to keep going.
Yes, keep going, please. So
yes,
I'll just ask Fiona, please drop your question into the chat, and Pavel will, or who the relevant person will answer that.
Yes. Is it possible to book into the meeting? Yes, it is possible. Please email me and I will send you the links. It is absolutely not too late. So can we choose more than 120 credits? In PPLS, we do not allow this, right? So in PPLS, we know that students often come in and say and think, oh, I'll be able to do this in semester one. In the first year, I'm doing all these interesting things. I want to do more than 120 credits. This very often does not end well and just end up overstretching yourself. So in PPLS, we made a decision that if you're in first year, then you can't go over 120. In second year, if you need to, because they have some transfers, you can talk about that with a PT, and we might be able to arrange it in second year. But in first year, we're not allowing more than 120. So someone's asking about a joint. So how do you apply for a joint degree? There's two sort of ways for that. So the first option, and that's the preferred option, is basically you take the first year courses for the other half of your joint degree as your outside courses. So say you've come in and you're doing linguistics, right? So then you're automatically signed up to linguistics, and English language 1A and 1B. That's your courses. You have 80 credits to work with, and maybe you can then sign up to French or psychology or whatever else. And